Hey, my friends. Hey, how's it going? It's a wonderful day in Santa Fe, New Mexico. It's about 3:55, my friends, on a Wednesday. And I'm looking for some board game. I'm looking for some Warhammer stuff, my friends. So I have to go through my board game tubs, my gaming tubs, and I'm looking for a particular thing, So yeah. So I'm getting back into my Warhammer games. Basically, I'm not really getting back into them. I'm kind of starting 40K. I tried to start before, back when the Black Reach set came out. I don't know, like 5th or 6th edition, long time ago. So what I'm looking for, my friends, is I'm looking for some particular tubs that have some models I needed. I'm also looking for some partially painted models. So these, my friends, are all my game tubs, okay? I got like Zombicide, Hero Quest, bunch of various games, mostly board games, games that involve little painted miniatures, So I'm gonna put you on pause for a second because I gotta move some of these stacks out, open them up and move them back in. And then so we'll basically, basically my friends, we'll be opening these guys and talking about them for a little bit here. Now, these guys are kind of heavy, but they're not really super heavy. Just imagine if you had like a ton of Monopoly games in a box, So it's kind of heavy like that, So some are a little heavier than others, So I know what's in these two crates here, and it's not what I'm looking for, okay? Because I was in here before. So what it is I'm looking for a tub that's going to have mixed games in it. So the games I'm looking for were on the bottom, okay? So I vaguely remembered packing them after, I couldn't find them, So, now, I got a Foot Locker underneath these guys, but that doesn't have gaming stuff. There's some Halloween decorations are in there, and some speaker stuff for my computer. Now this one's a little heavier, and when I restack this guy will be on the bottom. Because when you're stacking your storage, my friend, it's really crucial to keep weight in mind. That way you don't have a box break and things fall when you have stuff sitting when you're not there, So you always try to have heavy stuff. So I got some crates. I try to buy, if you notice, I have a lot of Home Depot boxes. So the big key thing, my friends, is to try to have the same size boxes, okay? Even though you might end up with more boxes than you would if you pack a lot of stuff in a big box, overall you end up saving more space because you don't have a lot of like airspace in between. Everything fits snug and it stacks good, okay? Now this blue tub is like regular board games, okay? That's why it's a different color. So this is actually like Monopoly. I might as well talk about the stuff while I move it, okay? So this, my friends, is a little more semi-traditional kind of things. Like, here's like a Trivial Pursuit. Now these are all basically going to be like, these are all like Star Wars themed stuff, okay? So look, here's the Star Wars Trivia, and then, look, here's the Star Wars Risk. For a while, I was collecting like board games. Oh look, here's like a Star Wars Monopoly. I'll have to actually play these. Oh yeah, this is all like my collector ones actually, huh? And then look, here's a Star Wars Life. So yeah, so basically, like Star Wars. Oh, here you go. Here's a traditional board game, Strategio. This is a great game, my friends. All right, and then got the Simpsons Clue. Now for a while, oops, pardon me. And then I have a Disney Monopoly. For a while, my friends, I got on this big Monopoly kick where I was collecting Monopoly boards. And I got another box that has like, different ones like Army, Navy, some different themes. But yeah, so these are basically, you know, these are all Star Wars themed ones. I'm a big Star Wars fan. I saw the movie when I was a kid, the first one, you know, the real first one, you know. Okay, yeah. But some of these stuff is thrift store finds, yard sale finds, you know. So, oh yeah, that's right. I got all these for like $2 each at a yard sale. That's right. Yeah. So I will actually play these. Now this, my friends, is like an older kind of fantasy game, you know, and you can see it's called Castle and Catapults, and basically your whole thing was to stack these things and shoot the towers down, but basically we were using these for war games. So this was actually kind of funny, come looking for Warhammer stuff. We would set these up and, you know, and use them as Warhammer tabletop terrain, you know. So I bought this stuff not with the intention of playing the game, but more for using it in war games itself, as you know, as decorations for the battlefield, you know. But still a neat thing to have, you know. Okay, hold on. And then this guy right here, Mutant Chronicles Siege of the Citadel. This is a game that I think I bought. I bought this in the store, and I think I played it like once or twice. It had some cool models in there. You know, it has some cool plastic figures. It was like a you know, Space Marine. It was like basically you're like these combat marines. You know, this came out after Aliens was kind of a hit. You know, this was around that time period. Now Pressman, they made a lot of board games. So this is at the time in my life where this was younger. This game's actually from the 90s, my friend. It's been around for a while. I was starting to play a lot more See, I've always loved board games, okay? So I grew up playing like Monopoly and all the classic board games that most of you other guys ever played, you know, at least by age, you know. Yeah, boomers, you know, the boomers. You know, Life and Scrabble. And then, you know, I discovered, you know, the more exotic games. And as I got older, it got better. So this is what I'm going to start showing you now, is that kind of stuff. 7 minutes so far, friends, not bad. So this I can put to the side, because we're not looking for this, okay? Now this box right here, okay, here we go. Check this out, my friends. Now this is a game called Hero Quest, made by Milton Bradley, which basically had models supplied by GW, okay? Now, this dates back to the 90s as well, and this, my friends, was my first experience with GW Games. Games Workshop out of the UK. Now, they're known for, you know, Warhammer, Warhammer 40K, you know, you can buy, like, there's a lot of video games with the Space Marines, but I started off playing a game called Hero Quest, and let me find the original game. Hold on. Oh God, it's on the bottom. So I shouldn't show you my back. That's really rude. I'm sorry, friends. Okay, so here we go. Oh, I got one down here. Okay, hold on. Is it down here? All right. So you Hero Quest collectors are gonna go crazy and lose your mind when you see I do it done to these original boxes, okay? So when Hero Quest came out, it was like in the 90s, it was a board game where you played on a set board game where you can move the rooms around different, you have little furniture, and you have little characters. It came with like a little map. So my friends, I went all hardcore on it. So what I bought a bunch of the stuff when Toys R Us was clearancing it out, okay? So what I did, my friends, is I had these boxes all cut, and so they would fit into my game box. And if you look, this is like nothing but tiles. This is like all the tile. Oh, I should get that because that's important. So these are all the little tiles you would put on the game board, you know, and this is all from various sets. So I'm really crazy on this game. it was like a board game version of D&D. When I discovered this game, my friends, I was already in my late 20s, okay? All my friends were in my late 20s. We're basically a bunch of almost grown-up guys knocking on our 30s. You can see in the inside cover, it had like the little furniture you put together. I do have full boxes, but it's in a different box, okay? And I have a lot of extra parts. Now I do have a complete set that's, you know, that I put together over the years. And so I have a complete set that's not used at all, you know. It's not in a great shape box, but I was able, through all the various boxes, buying used, buying on eBay, I was able to put together a complete set that I haven't used at all. Now in this particular box, oh look here, you can see this is all the extra little characters and stuff, you know. So here's like the heroes, okay, and you can see these guys are all tiny, okay, and you can paint them. They look better if you paint them. So that's what we did here, okay. So you can see now this is old. This is painted with like the testers like model paint. So this paint job's from the 1990s, my friend, okay, and like the same for this one. This is like 1990s paint jobs right there. And you know, you got the extra character cards, and then I got a bunch of extra dice. I have more extra stuff, you know. All right, here we go. Oh yeah, I love playing games. So as you can see, I've been playing games like forever. Okay, now, once you bought that initial starter pack, then you bought these little booster boxes, which basically came with an adventure book, the extra monsters. So like this is the undead theme. So now in the starter box, you got like a little sampling of all the creatures, right? And then depending on what this was, like for this is one of the first expansions. There was two of them, okay? There was Keller's Keep and then the Witch Lord, okay? And so basically this one, so this one came with like you know, orcs and goblins, and this one came with the mummies and the skeletons, you know. And then what they would do is, let me see if I have one, yeah. Let me see if I have one that's kind of semi-complete, because, yeah, so here you go. So, for example, this is the monsters that would come in there, and that's the amount. You would get like enough extra to supplement the adventure, okay? And then you got the extra room tiles, okay? So you got a tile sheet. I gotta be very careful I don't lose any parts, okay? So it would come with these cardboard cutouts, right? And these cardboard cutouts, they pop out, and these are made to fit on the existing game board, so you can change the extra rooms around. You see, this was kind of punched in, but over time, it's starting to pop out. This is one of my ones that is kind of complete, but this is neat. This would be the main game room. You have your adventure, and so you put these on the, this is a little fold-up door. This is like little coffins. It's pretty fun, my friends. And then it would come with an adventure book. And so basically you would have one person be the game master. He tells the story. He controls, you know, the monsters. Then you have the heroes. And then each little expansion box came with these little quest books, okay? And then it had like a little map. And so basically the little maps would tell you where you place the monsters, what happened in the rooms. So when the adventurers go to the game board, and they, so that's what the game board looks like, okay? So the game board had a set amount of squares, and then it had, and so depending on what little overlay tiles you had on top, that's how you change the game board around. It was pretty fun, okay? It's a classic game, my friends, a classic game, and they made a lot of content for it, okay? So then they also had these bigger expansion packs. This was near the end when they almost stopped making it. Now these ones are pretty beat up, my friends. These all got some use. These are very expensive if you can get them near complete. And you're looking at like almost $300 to $400. Mine are nowhere near in that shape where I can even get that kind of money. And so yeah, you can tell these boxes are from the 90s, my friend. You can see the age, all right? Now, and of course, you know, I bought extras of this stuff. So these extra boxes are basically holding, what are they holding? Oh yeah, see, look. um, they're holding all these extra cards, okay? So since I had all these extra sets, I got all these extra cards, dude. So basically, this stack of cards represents all the cards needed for one game, okay? So I have you know, like 4. I think I ended up buying like 5 of those board games total, okay? And then if you look underneath here, you can see I have the same spells in like the card sleeves you would put your like trading cards in, and those are the ones I've actually played with, okay? And then here again, these are the ones I'm actually playing with. So I have I have a lot of extra stuff. I should let the stuff go, man. I shouldn't be hoarding it like a dragon. Okay, yeah. So a lot of these extra boxes have a lot of extra bits. Okay, now, a few years back, not too long ago, Milton Bradley, under the Avalon Hill, which is like basically an arm of their gaming company, Hasbro. So Hasbro putting this out, and it's under Avalon Games, which basically does their more collector, higher tier games. Okay, now they did a Kickstarter. Okay, so they did a deal where they redid the game. Okay, so they redid the game, same concept, my friend, and it's the same game board. Okay, but a new sculpt of models. So the same thing. You get the board, you get the adventures. So there's an adventure book in here, and you play out the whole adventure, okay? And it takes a while, okay? It depends. If you can rush through it, you can do it once a week. But yeah, and it's hefty, my friends. It's hefty, okay? And so, just like its predecessor, now I've only played with the original game, okay? Now I got this through a Kickstarter, which means I got some extra goodies, okay? So it also came with, oh God, here it is. So they pretty much reissued the original box sets and started making new content. So this came with the Kickstarter, and these are basically the reissues of those smaller boxes I shown you earlier. Now I haven't opened any of this stuff yet, you know, because pretty much once I got the Kickstarter, COVID popped up, everything got packed away, and I stopped playing board games. It used to be where my home was the place where we played Dungeons and Dragons, we played Zombicide, we played Hero Quest. I had the board game house. I had the gamer house. And it was nice. I miss it. And so like basically, and the same thing. So they basically, these are the 4 original American issue sets, okay? And they remade them, which was pretty awesome. Now, which was also something that I was very happy about, my friends, is they also reissued the UK only set that wasn't available here in the States. And that was like one of the original things that I never got because, you know, I live here in the United States, and that was a UK only thing, you know. And also too, the UK version of Hero Quest is different than the American version. I'm talking the older game, okay? So now this is called Against the Ogre Horde. Now this was an expansion set that was only in the UK. Of course, these are all newer sculpts. The older sculpts, you can tell they're from the 90s, okay? Yeah, maybe down the road when I'm in my new home and I can unpack this stuff, you know, I'll show you. Okay, so yeah. And then, of course, these guys have been putting out some new expansion sets. I only have a couple of new ones, okay? Now these expansion sets, they go for about 30-40 bucks. And the same thing, what they do is they give you tiles to put over the existing game board, okay? They give you new cards for the draw pile. They'll give you some new characters and new villains and some new pieces of furniture. So with this game, my friend, you have to have the existing game. It's like a game system, okay? And so yeah, yeah, it's a wonderful experience. And what's great about this, my friends, it's co-op, okay? So it's now in the older version, you had to have it where a person was the GM, and so it was more of a traditional Dungeons and Dragons kind of setup. But with them being modern times and the technology the way it is you can actually get an app, and it works really good. You can get an app, and you can have the players. It's like one of the four, you can do solo, do two. It's best when you have more than 3 players. And then you play as a team against the game. And then the phone tells you, so basically the phone replaces the book. It has an app. And so when it's your turn, it'll tell you where to put the monsters at. And then once the monsters are on the board, it'll tell you where the monsters move. It's a blast, my friend. It might seem like a lot of money when you buy the initial set, because it's like $100, okay? 100 to 130, depending when you buy it. Amazon has it on sale a lot, okay? But you get so much fun out of it, because it takes more than one play session to finish the game. And then when you buy these expansions, it's a little mission pack it has like a bunch of chapters. So you get like hours and hours and hours of gameplay out of this, my friends. It's a deal. You get to interact with your friends, and you get to pretend, Now a lot of grown-ups, I keep moving out of frame. A lot of people have trouble pretending, my friend. Pretending is a powerful tool. It frees you. It frees you from, the stresses of reality, and it lets you cut steam. It's basically acting out a novel, Now D&D is the ultimate tier of it. This is kind of like a fast, watered down version of it. Not watered down as in quality, but watered down as in having to prep for it and having to have, you don't need all the books, you don't need, and plus you have these little cool models. You can visualize it, Something about miniatures, just makes the game seem like, especially when you paint them. It's fun, my friends. I encourage it. I encourage people to get into this hobby. Let me turn this way, because I'm picking up the piles of stuff. So I'm repacking, okay? Now, so far it's been 22 minutes. I can't go too long, because I got to be home, because I stream tonight, and I got to make sure I have time. Okay, now these guys, hold on. Oh, how do I do this? So these guys are like this. Yeah, I remember how to stack it now. And then, they'll all fit, because they're all pretty much square. It's going to be all good. Yeah, there I am. I'm getting there now. But yeah, friends. So we got a couple more boxes to look at. Now, this was the majority of my Hero Quest stuff. That's not packing too well. Why not? How come I couldn't get that? There it is. That's why. That's the stacking secret. Yeah, it's like a game, my friend. You gotta get in there a certain way. There it is. Yeah, and this also came with the Kickstarter. And then now to show you, let me show you the difference in the models, okay? So I showed you one of the really old models. Now the quality in the newer models is just amazing, my friend. Let me find one that's going to show up really good with not being painted. So you can see the model qualities are pretty neat, okay? That's a villain. I wanted to show you the villain because they're always the cooler models, because a hero is only as great as his villain, okay? So there's a wizard, okay? Now this game comes with the male and female versions, both of the heroes, okay? Which is nice, And then it comes with oops. I don't want to be dropping nothing. Okay. Now this is what this box is this is the extras. This is the Kickstart extras. So what that is that's extra monsters, some extra heroes, some extra villains you normally would not get when you buy the board game version in the store. The same for these cutouts, okay? So being a Kickstarter, you get some extra goodies, and it's the same thing with these. These are basically these are Kickstarter. They got these in the Kickstarter, okay? And so so these were like a little bonus stuff. But yeah, my friend, it's a wonderful hobby. Fantasy's great because it lets you step out of time lets you be in like in a different world. It's really nice, you know. And for some reason, I can't get this guy back in here. I'm not sure what I did. Maybe did I have it in there? Oh, I think I did. There it is. No, that's not it either. Wow, friends. Huh. Well, this box only has one adventure in it. We're going to put it in this crate right here. I don't want to damage it, okay? Even though the box is empty, it's still pretty old, you know. It's from the 1990s, and it's in good shape. All right. Yeah. Now, what do we got here, friends? What do we got in this tub? Okay, oh yeah. So this tub is Zombicide, okay? Zombicide and a couple others. Oh yeah, here you go. This is pretty old, okay? This, my friends, this is old. Okay, this is Dungeons and Dragons. This is the basic set. This is the real deal, my friends. This guy's really old. This goes back to 1978. Okay, as you can see, this was not the color. This used to be full color. It's faded over time. All right, and then check out these dice, dude. My friends, check out how funky this D&D dice are. Okay, these are the dice that it came with. These are funky, my friends. They're like hard, funky plastic. Yeah, these dice are old. These dice are from 1978. Now, I got all my other D&D stuff a little farther back, you know, but the reason why this box set's in here, because this set's super rare, super old, okay? And look, oh look, check this out. I even have, I still even have the little business supply thing that if you wanted to order some other products, and then also has a little survey saying how fun you had. This is back when TSR still existed. Now TSR ended up folding and gotten bought by Wizards of the Coast, okay? So Wizards of the Coast ended up owning TSR down the road and owning all D&D properties. And eventually when Hasbro bought Wizards of the Coast, Hasbro acquired all the D&D licenses and properties. Now, I'm not going to talk about the Zombicide because basically, my friends, it's already almost a half hour. Here, check these out, my friends. These are those adventure books where, depending on what you do, you have to, you got to turn to a certain page, you know. Turn to page 121 if you wish to hold the promise you made to Erasmus Quince and send Luna back. Turn to page 151 if you wish to let Luna decide for herself in order to continue on her journey. So this is one of those searcher books, and you go back and forth, you know. So depending, now this book, my friends, this book is pretty old as well. This book is from 1983, okay? So basically, I was 2 years out of high school, okay? And I only have 2 of these. I used to have more, but all I have is 2. And yeah. Now this one's in good shape, and this one's a little beat up. You could tell they're old, my friend, because look how yellow the paper is inside, okay? Yeah, I've always been a gamer, my friends. Always been a gamer. Now, we'll talk about Zombicide later. I'm just going to do a quick search. Oh, I think this might be my box. Hold on. This might be my box I need, friends. Well, I should be paying attention to how I'm packing it. Okay. All right, what do you got here? What do you got here? Okay, hold on. Oh, we got the other GW game I used to play called Warhammer Quest. Oh my gosh. Okay, hold on. This might not be the box I'm looking for. Okay, but we're getting closer. Okay, so Warhammer Quest. Oh, dude, this game is really rare. Also from the 90s. Basically, you had little tiles you set up. You had characters, you had monsters, you had to draw the cards. Basically, this was, you played against the board game, so you had to flip the cards, move certain ways. Oh man, this was amazing. This is worth a mint if you can find it sealed. Now, the same thing with the other game I showed you is you would basically have extra adventures that came with extra tiles. So this was a more expensive version of that Milton Bradley game. This was GW's version of it. I didn't discover this until I got to a specialty store. Okay, and then and the same thing too. This is Advanced Hero Quest. Okay, now this came out before Warhammer Quest, and this came out after after the Hero Quest, the original one I show you. This is also from the 90s. Okay, so yeah. So this is not the box we're looking for. Now this is another game, a GW game called Mighty Heroes, okay? Where it had a bunch of, see, this is how I discovered GW. They had a bunch of board games, my friend. Now in this game, you have a series of heroes. Basically it was Skaven, and like some Empire Spearmen, and then the traditional, like a dwarf, a barbarian, a wizard. And then what you did, my friends, is you had all these different room tiles you had to lay out on the floor. Bam, 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 okay? And then so you and your opponent would take turns laying these down side by side, and you made kind of like a dungeon map, okay? And then after you guys laid your map down, so here's your cards. Look, it's on chipboard. Here's your cards for your heroes. And then once you initially laid down your dungeon, then you would take turns laying down your troops. And basically you would put one model in each room, okay? So you would put like, and so basically the Skaven player would put a Skaven model in that room. That would be his territory. And so you spread your guys out, and then there was a big room in the middle, and the whole idea was trying to get the dungeon, so you had to get your troops amassed, and then conquer the big room, So yeah, and if you put it right, you can take out some. No, it was a fun game, and this is pretty old. And then you had a thing where you had to roll, and you rolled now it's your to hit or miss roll. So depending where the dice roll was and where it landed. Oh yeah, my friends, this game is pretty ancient. And it's hard to, it took up a whole room. That's basically my first excursion into GW games. It wasn't until my friend who works at a game store that actually told me about Warhammer. So I had no idea about Warhammer. I just knew GW made cool board games. That's all I ever played was the cool board games. So once I found out about the actual games, man, it was like heaven. Okay, let's start getting this guy packed up, because we're done talking about this stuff. I think I got this. No, this guy went here like this. Yeah, we got this now, friends. We got this now. All right. Well, we'll talk about this other stuff later. I'm sorry I'm turning my back on you. It's pretty rude of me. I do apologize. I am trying to get this stuff put away. There we go. This one will be easier to repack. Not so hard because, those smaller boxes. Yeah. I'll show you this other stuff down the road, my friends. But right now, we're on a quest for some Warhammer stuff. So it's going to be one of those tubs. I hope I can find them. I mean, it won't be the end of the world. It'd be kind of a bummer because I'm joining an escalation league where I paint and build a 2,000 point Warhammer 40K mod. Okay, now 40K, my friend, is a miniature game where it's like space combat in the future with various different races. Aliens, humans. I'm actually orcs. Okay, all right. It's always ended up being the last box, so we'll see how it goes, my friends. This might be it. Yeah, because we're looking for a box that has like a bunch of mixed items. I gotta tie my shoe before I fall down and hurt myself. That would not be good because I'm here at the storage locker and it's basically blacktop on the floor. And the last thing I need to do is fall down and hurt myself, and there's nobody here. It's not wise to go do your storage thing by yourself. I just knew. Now these tubs, I know what's in there. It's a different game entirely. Now this is more zombie side stuff, okay? All right, here we go. All right, we got this, friends. This might be the one. Okay. Oh gosh, hold on. Jeez Louise. Okay. So look, here's some more zombie side stuff. Oh, I don't know, friends. This is not looking good. I am not seeing the box I need. Makes me wonder where I packed it. Okay, hold on, friends. Oh, that's bad news. Yeah, bad news, bad news. Bummer, bummer. I gotta look on these boxes now. Hold on. So here's like the Animal Crossing Monopoly. Okay, back in the 70s, there was a game called Emergency about like firefighters. This is actually the board game from Milton Bradley. This is from the 1960s. Okay. This was I got this at Savers. This was a thrift store find I was ecstatic about. This is also from the 1970s. I love Vincent Price. And this basically was the version of Hangman where he did the commercials and he's on the box art. And it's basically, it's all there. Oh, I was ecstatic. I was ecstatic to find it. And then, like I said, I was collecting different Monopolies. So here's like the Kiss Monopoly. All right. Yeah, friends, this is not the box. This is not the box. Bummer days, okay? All right. I could have sworn I had it packed in a tub. Oh, man. I don't know. We'll see what we can do. Gotta keep looking. Yeah, I'm gonna look in there. It might be in there. Who knows? You never know. Okay, we gotta get this guy packed up. Okay, hold on. That's kind of a bummer, friends. That's a bummer. Bummer days. Okay, hold on. Let's get this guy. I think it was like that. Hold on. Yeah, here we go. I should have took a picture because now I already messed up my stacking. I remember this being over here. Okay, that's gonna be good. We'll get it. We'll get it. That was sideways. I know this was over here. And this was on top of here because that was heavy. Yeah, here we're all good, friends. We're all good. Yeah, yeah. Oh, that's a bummer. That's a bummer, folks. That's a definite bummer. Yeah, I keep moving off frame. I'm so sorry. Oh, geez Louise. I kind of needed these models for that painting competition. That's not it. Hold on. Oh, gosh. Wow, friends. Funky. There it is. There it is. There it is. Yeah. Bummer. Bummer, bummer, bummer. I think I had this one sideways I can hear. Let's do that, watch. Let's do that. Yeah, now I don't remember how I had this stacked. No, that wasn't it. Shoot, my friends. That wasn't it either. Hold on. Ah, dude. Hold on. Maybe it was like this. Like this. Yeah, this is it. This is it right here. This is it. Yeah, that's weak sauce, friends. That's weak sauce. Yep, okay, hold on. Oh, man, I really need these. I gotta pull these out so I don't damage nothing. Okay, let's put this over here. Okay. I guess we get to look at all the tubs, huh? All right. This one's a little heavier because this is like trading cards. Okay. So what this is, my friends, is this is a game from the 2000s, okay? This is a wonderful game. Hold on, let me fix this. God, I'm really kind of bummed out. I must have them in a different box. Okay, that's okay. So let me show you this stuff really fast. Okay, this is a game called Pirates CSG, okay? And so what it was a collectible card game that came in packs, okay? And it was, the whole thing is you could play a complete game in a pack, and this is little pirate ships. This is ship battles, naval combat battles, okay? And so what it was is, hold on. It had a little punch-out island. It had these ships you punched out and assembled, okay? Now the ships were pretty neat, and they look like that, okay? And so you basically use the card to measure them. And so if it was a long side, hold on. I don't think I have any of them open, my friends. Hold on. No. Okay, so, shoot. I'm doing you guys a disservice by not being able to show you exactly what I'm talking about, other than showing you, oh, here you go. Perfect, here you go, here you go. So, how these guys came is you were depending, let me find something really easy, here you go. Okay. We're good now. I found what I can tell you guys. Here, hold on. There. And then. Okay, perfect. Here you go. So, they came with the little island, okay? They came with the little dice. So basically, you would get 2 ships, you would get an island, you would get a treasure coin card, and you would get, now the ships were either, they were different. They were actually like pirate ships like I showed you, or you can get like this one, for example. This guy punches out, and is like is a giant crab, a giant crustacean. It's a Titan. There's different keywords and rules. This game was amazing. It had a great run. It actually had a movie tie-in with the Pirates of the Caribbean. This was put out by WizKids, which is still around, but they put out that game HeroClix, you know. And then yeah, but this game was amazing. They don't make it. It's out of production. It's a shame, but there's a group of super hardcore, very knowledgeable, passionate fans, you know, that basically put out, are actually putting out fan sets, of tribute sets, okay, of the game. I'll talk more about this later. I'm doing it a total disservice by not spending the time I should be spending, but you can see they had different sets, different card sets names, you know, and this is a super rare one. This is near the end. These were hard to get. I'll talk about it later. Well, in fact, like I said, this was the Pirates of the Caribbean tie-in. They had really cool packaging. They had one basically where you bought it and it came with this cool pirate treasure chest. And what it was, it had packs inside, okay? I still have a lot of sealed packs. I have a pretty good collection. I started playing this game as an adult, you know. I was already in my late 30s, and my friend worked at the game store. I'll talk about this in a later date, friends. We're on a mission. This is already like 43 minutes long. But that's okay. I'm totally okay with that. Wow, folks. We're like batting 1,000 here. Oh. So my fear is it's in a different box, okay? So, I'm sorry. I keep getting off frame. See, my fear is it's going to be like in a different box. I did have a couple of cardboard boxes that had some Warhammer parts in there. I'm hoping that didn't get packed in there, because if it is, I don't know where it's at, you know. So, yeah. Alright. It's looking pretty slim, my friends. It's looking pretty slim. Okay, yeah, see, look, it's same. It's more like of those packs. Yeah. Yeah, so these are like different game. So they came, this was like a Walmart, Target. So near the end, even Target was carrying this during this phase. And I was buying these at Target. And yeah, folks, I am not finding what I need. I'm totally bummed out. And then I have this cool cloth I put on the table, and then, oh look, watch. See, it looks like an ocean. Look how cool that is. And then, so I would put that on the table when I would be playing these games. Yeah, my friends, it's a shame I'm not going to be able to find my Warhammer stuff. I did get to share some time with you, so it's not a total negative. There's always a bright spot. And it reminded me of all these cool games that I need to get back into. Once I get into my new home, I'm really frustrated I didn't find those parts. I got more models. It's not the fact that I'm losing stuff. It's in here. It just means, yeah, because they're partially, I already have partially painted models already. That means I can't use those models. That's all right. Oh man, I'm not gonna go looking for them now because I have to take a lot of stuff out. I'm just not up to that, my friends. It's just gonna be stuck in there. Because if I couldn't find them now, then that's just so be it. So be it. Okay, let's get this stuff stacked back in here. Oh. Now I would have packed them really nice because they're fragile plastic models. I did have another box of some really old Warhammer stuff. It probably got packed in there. But it's kind of a drag. That's the thing about having stuff in storage. You know, stuff gets lost. I know it's not lost forever. I'll find it back down the road. So that's not the issue. Yeah, it's just a shame. Okay, hold on. We're gonna, okay. I'm trying to put the stuff I know I'm not going to be using so much. Okay, here. Yeah, folks, I'll be nice. It'll be very nice to have this stuff all unpacked, not have a storage locker. I'm in the middle of a big life change, so basically, this is all my belongings, my friend. The only thing I pretty much have at home is like my computer, my clothes, and I have like a small like tub, a smaller tub, like, you know, a small little clear one of the Army stuff I'm currently working on right now, you know. So yeah, it's all good. It's all good. Okay, this guy's gonna go right here. Oh, thankfully, these guys are not too heavy. I can stack them without me breaking. I can lift them without hurting myself, you know. It's just a shame I couldn't find them. It sure is. But you know, folks, there you go down the street again. Yeah, we looked really good. So, yeah, they're gonna be back there somewhere. I would have to move all this stuff out, climb on things, you know, it's okay. That's, you know, if I did that, I gotta make sure I have somebody with me, so in case I fall, I'm not alone. You know, that's the big thing about working on a storage by yourself. Okay, hold on. Okay, what do I got in here again? Let me just double check in here really fast. Okay. This is more Warhammer stuff. See, it's like, oh gosh, hold on. See, I mean, this is stuff I was putting together, his arm. So this is basically more of that little, now this one's more about moving troops around. I have videos about this, you guys know. Okay, but nah, it looks like, and not this box, my friend. Okay. This is stuff that is pretty much half empty. It's models I was gluing together. This is stuff I packed up in a hurry. You know, so these out of all the tubs, these are the lightest, and these will go on top. Because they're super light, and there's not much in there. Thank God, because I gotta lift them up pretty high. Hold on. Let me get a better reach on that. See, it's all about lifting things right and not hurting yourself. because you lift it the right way. You're not trying to be all weird about it, you know. Okay. Yeah, my friends, I gotta tell you, I'm a little on the disappointed side because I really needed to find those models and I didn't have them. Nope, nope, nope. That's okay. That's all right. Yeah. What can you do? I'll find them when I don't need them. That's how it works out. Murphy's Law. I'm checking in here now. Wouldn't it be ironic if they were in this last one? Not that I expect that to happen, but it would be funny. Because I was looking at nighttime during these boxes, and so it was hard. It was nighttime, so it's possible. Hold on. I don't know, friends. I don't think so. Oh wait. I don't think so. Doesn't look like it. These are all fantasy. See, this is from a game called Warhammer: The Old World, where you have to glue together these guys, my friend. You actually glue these troops together, these plastic models, and they don't come assembled. They come like they basically come like car models on the frames, and you gotta build them. Like for example, this is like a giant spider, and I have like little guys that ride them. This is an awesome, fun game. I love it. It's been an awesome part of my life. But yeah, this is not the box either. I knew it wasn't, but I was just checking to make sure. Yeah, that's a shame. It's packed in another box. It's packed in a cardboard box. And it's gonna be up there where my fragile stuff is. And just can't get to it right now. And I don't, and that means I would have to move all this stuff out to safely get to that back layer. So that means I would have to move all these tubs, move all this stuff, the shopping basket, these other boxes, and my friends, I'm not up to that. And I barely got the stuff to fit. The way I stacked it is I would be only accessing these tubs only because my game stuff I'd be using. So, yeah, I don't know. I can always pull this stuff up and hope it's on this side, but it's probably over there. I don't know. What can you do? What can you do, friends? I know I have it. I know it's not lost. It's just lost in the moment. Oh. Wow. I really thought I was going to come in here, grab a tub, and be out of here like in 30 minutes. Bam, bam, bam. But no, my friends, it doesn't work that way, you know. Luckily, I did all my errands before I came here because I had a feeling I'd be moving stuff around. I wish I would have brought 2 cold drinks instead of 1 because I drank my drink earlier, you know, when I was setting stuff up. All right, you know what? We should call it a day. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed a little chapter of my real life. My life has been a series of games. Catchy title, huh? Yeah, it's all clickbaity. Hey, my friends, thanks for liking and watching. I don't remember if I did that or not. If I didn't, I apologize because this video is longer than I expected it to be. Hey, but thanks for liking and watching, and I appreciate you guys subscribing. Hey, next month, my friends, begins my 3rd year on YouTube. I got like 1,440 something videos, my friends. So mostly Animal Crossing, some board games, some cozy games. But you know, thank you for your support. I'm also offering memberships, like no pressure, friends, but that would help me pay for things like the storage and you know, maybe a better camera for the stream. Who knows? But you know, just give me a like and a comment, you know, and just watching it. Don't feel obligated to do any of that stuff if you don't want to. The fact that you're watching this is helping me out, okay? You know, it's all about low pressure, my friends. If you want to help me, you will. And I hope I entertain you, you know. And, you know, just come back. You know, come back and watch more. That's how you can really help me. It's pretty warm. here in Santa Fe, New Mexico, and it's a gorgeous day. It's in the upper 60s. It's wonderful. It's my day off, and it's been nice to spend all this time chatting with you while I look for my little plastic fantasy soldiers. Yep. I love my life. Even though I have a lot of chaos and stuff happening, you know, my friends, I'm 61 years old. When I was 41 years old, I had a near-death, I actually died. I flatline died from a heart incident, and they gave me a shot in the chest. They did the paddles. I was unconscious for 5 days, off work for 6 months, and I've never really been the same, but I've been improved in spirit. So I was broken in body, my friends, but improved in spirit, okay? So I'm always happy about things. It's always a blessing. I'm so happy and fortunate that I can still have a job and I can still afford these little hobbies. Now I don't spend a lot on other stuff, my friends. So, you know, this is where my expendable cash goes. I buy a lot of this on sale. You know, I have stuff like on my Amazon. I keep an eye on it. So, you know, it's just ironic because right now I'm really trying to pinch the pennies because I'm trying to sell my house and move. So I'm trying not to spend any money. That's why I was looking for the older models instead of just rebuying stuff. But yeah. You know, it's all about being thrifty. You know, if you're being thrifty, you can play these kind of games. You just gotta spend wisely. And yeah. Thanks. I'm all old man right now, my friends. Maybe it's just too hot and I'm baking my brain. I better get out of here. I gotta go home, get ready. I'm streaming Dinkum tonight on my channel, because on Wednesday, yeah, I'm not sure. I stream video games and it's fun and I love it, okay? Not bad for a grandpa. Yep, I'm so blessed, my friends. I'm so lucky. So lucky to have you guys as viewers. I'm so lucky to be able to have free time and a tiny bit. Now this is all stuff that I bought over the decades, you know. It seems like a lot, but you gotta remember, I've been buying this stuff since the 90s. So, you know, I didn't buy it all in one time, you know. It adds up. Like the storage. It all adds up. I'll be getting rid of some stuff, not gaming stuff, but other stuff. I got a bunch of VHS tapes and some other stuff, and, you know, I'm trying to get into a mobile home and a retirement park. We'll see how it goes, because I want to retire in about 7 years, you know. And so I got to start planning for that now while I'm still able-bodied, while I still have the stamina and the will, you know. Not that I'll be a doddering old person, because I keep myself sharp, I keep my mind busy. That's what those games do, you know. And basically I don't drink, you know. I don't drink, you know, and if you did drink, it's okay, as long as you drink responsibly and don't overdo it where you're pickling the brain, you know. I used to be an alcoholic. I used to drink really bad. And so I know the dangers. Well, friends, that's enough grandpa talk at the end there. This is supposed to be about me finding my board games, you know. What can you do? I'm glad we have this time together. That's what I was doing. I was saying goodbye to you guys. Yeah, you guys have an awesome day, friends. Thanks.